is expanded, that has a really good attitude. You know, does your parrot give you a hard time, doesn't want to go back into its cage at night? There might be a reason for that if you're having a hard time getting your parrot in his or her cage. Hi guys, I'm Kaylin. I'm the author of the Parrot Bliss Bond. I have 23 species of parrots. I love parrots. And with one or two exceptions, I don't have problems putting my parrots back in their cages at night. As a matter of fact, generally, they put themselves back. Hey Macy, ready to go to bed? Good girl. Good girl. Yeah. Night, night. So let's talk about that. But first, if you're already used to hanging out, thank you so much for being here and for hanging out. You've probably already set your preferences so that YouTube lets you know when the next video is published, usually the next day. And I'm gearing up. I'm getting closer for my membership, so that there's a way and a place for not only you to get extra videos as a member that aren't going to be available to the public, including my mentor said I could publish some of our videos. So I'm very excited about that. But it'll also, for the advanced levels or the deeper levels or whatever you call it, you know, I want a place where we can create our own flock and get to know each other better. So I'm very excited about that. Let's start to talk about parrots and their beds. All right, so if you're having a hard time getting your parrot to go to bed, there's a few things you need to know. But first, I better introduce this beautiful bird here. This is alebrije, or Ale for short. Ale is a white crown pioneus. He's like, I don't know, 9 months now, so he's still young. And he had some cage mates. Now he doesn't have a cage mate, but he goes into his cage by himself. I can have, you know, his cage has what I call a little balcony, and it's just a little door that flips up and down. And when it flips up, you know, you can lock it in place. When it flips down, he can be out, and he likes that. He's kind of close to his security, but if he wants, he can come to the edge and be like, oh, pick me up. He doesn't say pick me up, but, you know, I can read his body language. But at night, when he's ready, he goes back in. I close it, and I cover his cage. He goes to sleep. Easy peasy. If your parrot isn't going to bed by himself, like the person who wrote, who said her parrotlet, you know, has a beautiful cage and all that good stuff, but doesn't want to go in. Interestingly enough, once the parrotlet's in, it's all good, but getting the parrotlet in, she feels like she's gonna like have to trick him and like they're gonna lose trust. Probably true. What do you do about that? So let's understand what's going on. Parrots are huge flock animals, huge. And when you're a little parrot, Ale is like 150 grams, 200 grams. A parrotlet's like 30, smaller. And Ale, you know, I would call him a medium-sized bird. When you're a little small guy, one of the things that you rely on is your flock. When you have numbers, even if the number is just like 20, because a lot of parrotlets, they're not in a flock of like hundreds, they might be in a smaller flock, but even a flock of 20, it provides warmth, someone to preen your feathers, someone to keep you company, someone in the flock to tell you where there's food, someone to tell you when there's danger. It provides safety and security that you just cannot replace with a cage. So one of the things that happens with a lot of parrots is when they need to go back into their cage by themselves, they might not feel safe and secure, especially if they're in a room by themselves. You know, it's just no fun being by yourself. I mean, that's kind of the opposite reason as to why you have a pet, right? So if you apply that to your pet, he's talking to the wild fauna and flora. There's a crow over there, I think calling a mate. Not calling you. You're not a crow. Okay, so since that's the biggest thing going on, we're going to apply the fact that you didn't want to be alone to your parrotlet or parrot. And the way you can handle this and change things around is, I want you to consider that in the wild, birds are wild and sometimes loud. Sometimes there are night critters around. Okay. This bird is like quiet 99.9% of the time. Here, try going over here and let's see if you're quieter. Maybe that way he won't be able to see the crow and he won't be so loud. Okay, so, there's stuff going on at night. Yes, most of the world quiets down. And your parrot, I hear people say that parrots sleep 12 hours a day. I'm like, turn your stopwatch on, close the blinds, and when the alarm goes off for 12 hours, turn the lights back on. That's not exactly natural. Yes, it's better than not letting your parrot sleep, I guess. But where I'm trying to go with this is in the wild, sometimes the moonlight's out and sometimes it's a full moon. And the truth is sometimes it's still bright. Now, parrots hide in a tree and they're usually green in the wild. I've heard it called their wild color. I think that's a good description. So they kind of disappear in there, granted. But my point is there can still be sounds and lights. My point is, if you put your parrot, for example, their cage in your bedroom, even if you're watching TV or something, you can cover their cage. What we do, and what I'm doing for Ale right now, because he doesn't have a cage mate right now, is they've got their cage, they can go in anytime, or if I need to put them in, that's fine. But when the sun's setting, that's their clock, that's their lights out. So at that point, when they go in their cage, or when we decide it's time to put them in, Emerald, go to bed. Are you gonna go to bed? Yeah. Hi, love. Are you gonna go to bed? Hi, sweetie. Yeah. Emerald. Go night, night, night. No, not time to feed me. Night, night, night. I'm good. How are you doing? I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. I'm sunk to the finish 'cause I eat my spinach. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. Go to bed, love. Other side. Good girl. We simply cover the cage so that if we have the TV on or the lights on, it doesn't disturb them. Loudest pioneers ever today. Okay. It's a really simple solution, but the thing is, at that point, your bird will have seen that you're there, you're in the room, and they get to know because they really know the habits and the routines. And so if you're tricking your bird into going to a back room by themselves, it's absolutely true. Okay, too much. It's absolutely true that they're going to learn the trick and they will start to not trust you. On the other hand, when our parrot, when Aile's in the room, he knows we're in the room, so I can leave the room and go downstairs and get water, come back. He's fine. And he's comfortable and he sleeps plenty because he has a nice secure cage. It's covered, and so he's not disturbed. So just make a simple change so that your parrot isn't quite so isolated, because one of the most important things to a parrot is to feel like they belong. Actually, I want to make a video about that because I think it's so important. And I also think that when people see my parrots and they're like, oh, your parrots, they're so friendly, they step up, they're so tame. One of the reasons is because they get that sense that they're in the flock, so they're safe, they're secure, they're happy. So make that simple change and see if that doesn't make a really significant difference, because it's like In a way, it goes from ostracizing your parrot from the flock when they're most vulnerable to including them in the safety and security of the flock when they're most vulnerable and when they most need to belong to the flock. Hope that really changes your parrot's world and changes your experience so that you feel like you're not tricking your parrot. If you enjoyed this video, make sure please to give me a thumbs up, make a comment, give me a like. It helps me grow my channel, helps the juice for my channel, and then I will catch you in the next feathered video unless your parrot is stressed out. If your parrot is stressed out, make sure to get Tink's must-have parrot relief on parrotbliss.com, and I'll catch you next time.